A couple of weeks ago I looked at the ThermalTake Ceres 500 mid-tower case. Really great functionality, loads of flexibility for different mounting options. Also comes with 4 included ARGB fans that all match as well, so keeps the OCD in check. But if that case is a little bit big for you, then ThermalTake also have the smaller brother, the Series 300. It does have a few differences, obviously a little bit more limiting on what you can put in it because it is a smaller size case, but of course I'll cover that as we go through the video. It is the 300, it's Diddy. I like it already. So I'm not sure what happened here. I'm guessing some shipping damage, but it's got a little bit warped. I'll get my heat gun and flatten that out. But this has got a filter on as well. So I don't know why you would, but if you want to use it as an intake, you can do. Unless you have a really dusty room and you want to stop anything going in when you're not using the system. But heat rises, so don't fight it. You just as well take that off if you're going to use this as an exhaust. While we're here, we have got room for a 280mm AIO. You can do a 360 in the front if you'd like to. The Series 500 does have support for a 360 in the top. Personally, I would go for a 360 in the roof. I do like mounting them in the top rather than in the front. Like I said, heat rises, so you just as well go with it. And I think the AIOs in the roof look a little bit better in the front personally. So that's how I would do it, get the bigger brother. But of course, people do like smaller cases. So at least you can still do a 360 in the front. Let's talk about I/O while we're here as well. So we have got a reset button, also a headphone and a microphone jack. We've got 2 USB 3s, Type-C, which is USB 3.2 Gen 2, activity lights, and then also a power button on the end. A little bit scuffed up. I've not had that much luck with UPS recently, but if you buy this from Scan in the UK, they ship by DPD, which seems to be a lot better. This has come a long way from Germany, so that's why it's a little bit more dinged. Let's have a look at the front. A little bit different to the Series 500. There's some little tabs that you pull this part off, but for this case, it's the full thing to take the front off. Again, you've got some mesh on there inside. You can take that out to clean it. And then here we have 2 pre-installed 140mm fans. Again, ARGB. The one in the rear is slightly different from the Series 500. It's not the same as the front, so something to take in consideration. You can, like I said, do the 360mm on the inner mounts if you'd rather. So if you want to put a bigger radiator in the front, you can do. The cables for these fans all go inside and they're all daisy chained and things, so it makes life a little bit easier. We'll cover that and stuff in a minute. Let me just talk about this little panel here. You can get an optional kit that allows you to put a little LCD screen on. It also fits in the 500 as well, so you can get it for both. They have different colors. In this case as well, you can get a white, a black. There's also like a matcha green, and you can get the screen kits that all match as well. Some screws we can take off this panel here. Now this part is a little filter for the power supply, so any air that you're going to intake from the bottom is all dust filtered. There's also one on the other side as well with the back panel, so all the fresh air that's going to be drawn in is nice and clean. These are also removable to be able to wash them as well. So that other section I said can come out if you're going to put the screen in, but I'll just pop this back in for now. Quite nice to have those little side filtered vents, especially if you want to maybe put a couple of intakes that go from the power supply, so it's just going to draw the air in through those and then be pushed up. So quite a nice little option to have. Let's get the side panel off. We've got some tempered glass. This is 4mm, it feels like. So nice panel there. Then inside the belly of the beast, we have got support for up to an e-atx motherboard. That's a 12-inch by 13-inch maximum. Some rubber grommets on there as well. This is currently set to a ATX layout, but you can see the extra little pins if you want to use e-atx. The cables for the motherboard were going to be tricky. I think if you're using the e-atx, you're more than likely going to have to come up from this little part in the basement to bring the cables up, because those grommets are going to be very tight. I don't think you can manage to get anything through, especially if your motherboard's pressed down onto them. Little cutout on the top for all the EPS 8 pins and stuff to come through. We have got an accessory box, so quite a few cable ties in there. We've got an adapter which seems to be 2 4-pin PWM onto one, so great for the ones that are in the front. You've also got a little speaker if you'd like to use one of them, and then all of the mounting hardware for the motherboards and power supplies, hard drives, that kind of stuff. Now we've got that out of the way, you can also see that there's markings for if you want to use a micro ATX, ITX board, you can do that. Don't see why you would. If you're going to obviously get a bigger case, then you just will use up the space that you've got. Rear exhaust fan is a 140mm fan. There's no RGB or anything like that, so you might want to get yourself an additional one to match the front if you're going to have it all lit up. Personally, I do like to see them all matching. Like I said in the intro, keeps the OCD happy as well. Towards the back, we've got the standard 7 expansion brackets, but this does have the rotatable design like we saw on the Series 500, so you can easily take this out, rotate it, and then you've got your vertical mount sorted. All you then need is a riser cable rather than buying an additional vertical mount. So you save yourself about 30 or 40 quid by having it built into the case. A bit further down, we've got our power supply mount, standard 220mm support on this one. Before I go over the maximum clearances and things that we've got, we have got a dust filter on the bottom of the case, easily accessible from the front. Clearance wise, I have got me 4080 strict here to have a little look. On this one, we have a maximum support of up to 370mm without a radiator in the front. Now let's just see, this will fit, but as you can see, we've got maybe 2 fingers width there. Let's actually measure that. So being that I didn't actually install this, because obviously the bracket takes up another 10mm, you've got 35mm clearance. So if you want to use a 30mm thick AIO with 25mm fans, you'll be able to get away with that, but certainly nothing wider, just not going to be able to fit. If you do want to go anything bigger, I don't think there's any cars that are bigger than this one at the moment, but if you do want to fit anything like that, then look at the Series 500 case, because you've got 425mm clearance in that one over the 370 in this one. And then for your coolers, you've got up to 185mm, so even an NHD15 will fit in there without any worries. So going on to the back panel, you can see that little part I was saying about with the filter, if you wanted to draw any fresh air into the power supply area for any additional fans that might be blowing into the case. Pretty thick panel actually on the back of that, surprisingly sturdy considering it is a more affordable case. So first of all, we've got a sled for a couple of drives. You can do one 3.5 inch or then two 2.5 inch internal drives. That just easily unscrews, so you can do it all and then put it in after. Front panel stuff, so we've got a USB-C, we've got the USB 3 headers, reset switch, power, hard drive activity, reset, and then also the front panel audio. Nothing really to write home about there. We've got the RGB and stuff for the fans on the left-hand side. Like I said, these are daisy chains. If you want to add an additional one, maybe to match the rear fan, you can just daisy link in with that one, and then you've got one header to go onto your motherboards. Got a couple of cable channels. These have got Velcro ties on. There's also loads of tie down points stamped around the case as well, so you can do some zip tie action onto those. Also got a little channel on the right hand side as well that you could tuck your 8-pin EPS into and then go up through the top. And as you can see down by the power supply, we haven't got any area for an additional hard drive cage, so that obviously will save on the cost. Kind of understandable why we haven't got any additional support there. I just noticed as well that that rear fan's got a daisy chain cable on it, but it's pretty short, so it's going to be visible no matter how much you try and hide it. A little bit of a shame, but I expect most people will be swapping out this rear fan to something that will match the front ones anyway. Now, you've probably already seen by what I've titled this, but this case is currently 89 quid, $89, and I think that's pretty reasonable for the features that you get. It's a shame that the rear fan doesn't match the front. I would do like to see them all matching, but obviously you do need to take into account it is a more affordable case. But the vertical mount that you can rotate in the back of the case, I do like that. Just need to get the riser cable then as well. There is also some screw points if you want to actually screw that riser cable in into the case. But yeah, let me know what you think about it. I will put the links and things in the description box if you want to pick one up. I will think about what we can do with this. Maybe a more budget themed PC would make sense, considering this is a more affordable case. Let me know what you think about it in the comments box. Big thank you to ThermalTake for sending this out for me to look at. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.